YouTube. My name's Quickie and welcome back to my little corner of the kingdom. This is my workshop, and today we're going to start on the new project. Let me get the bike. So, this is a GIXIT. So cool because it's a mashup of a Bandit and a GSXR. Belongs to my mate Steve. He's going to be here in a bit. He's going to help us get it up on the bench and we're going to start working on this. But basically, he's been building this project bike for 3 years, maybe more actually, somewhere around there anyway. Originally he wanted to do a cafe racer. And he kind of got halfway there and then he got confused halfway through, and this is what he's ended up with. So essentially this is a Bandit 600 is what it started out as, and took it all apart and he chopped the back end off the frame, so he just had the front part of the frame. He has put a Suzuki 750 engine in it, normally aspirated inline 4, running pod filters. I think he's got some different carbs on there as well. Still got the original tank, but then he's put a GSXR 1000, yoke, forks, front and rear wheel, brakes, the swing arm, the hugger, all that came off the GIXIT 1000. All in all, it didn't look that bad really, but he's literally just finished the project, just got it MOT'd, and now he wants to change it all again. Go figure. Let's give you a closer look. So like I was saying, this bike has been reasonably heavily modified. The frame and a few other bits and pieces is pretty much all that exists of the original 600. He's got the GIXIT seat unit on, which is a complete subframe which bolts to the frame through a couple of tabs that he welded on. Really long exhaust. I think it's a Delcovic, something like that anyway. But essentially what he wants to do is to change out all the rear seat unit to start off with. So he's going to go for a more traditional looking cafe style seat. So all this is going to have to go right back to the frame here. We're also going to make some modifications to the tank and the way all that mounts. At the minute, as you can see here, there's a tab that's welded onto the frame that the tank bolts to, and then there's a couple more points down here which have been welded on for the GIXIT rear frame and seat unit to go onto. So essentially all that's coming off. This lot is in the bin. We'll cut these tabs off either side to make it sort of follow the normal shape of the tank, and then we're going to put a single tab inside, which will mount to a whole new seat frame which we're going to make. Kind of in line with a cafe style hoop, but it's not going to be a complete hoop. You will see when he eventually gets the seat unit that he wants to use, but step one is to start tearing into this and get it all down. Because we're mucking about with the frame, the whole frame is going to need to be powder coated again. So this bike is going to be literally just a frame sitting on the floor. The engine's coming out, tanks, wheels, swing arm, the whole 9 yards. So it's going to be a bare chassis and we're going to start from scratch again. There's loads of other bits and pieces that he wants to do as well, but I'll let him all explain that. This exhaust is going to change. Swing arm will be powder coated black. We want to put a load of daylight in here so you can see all through it like a cafe racer should be. So all the wiring is going to need to be cleaned up. God knows what that is, God knows what they are. The front end is pretty much going to stay the same. He did some work on the oil cooler. Yeah, we'll come back to that. He did some work on the oil cooler and mounted it himself. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but there's a thumping great bracket here and bits off the fourth bridge to hold just real lightweight indicators. There's wiring laying about everywhere. All this needs to be tidied up. Cable ties are holding an awful lot of it together. Got a funky front headlight, kind of cafe-ish. Didn't shorten up the mudguard, which I think he may well end up doing. He's definitely keeping all the GIXIT front end, but we need to tidy things up. And basically just make do and mend is an awful lot of it. The engine was painted black, and it's basically just where he's been working on it. He's got the odd chip in it. It's not the greatest finish, and I know he wants to dress all this up, so it'll be probably black engine, sand down the fins so you get the chrome lines, and then all the covers I think he's gonna either brush finish them or maybe polish them. Don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Rear sets and everything is all going to stay the same, I believe, but knowing Steve-O, he'll change his mind. If you look at the driver's seat, the view from the driver's seat, you could have better views. He's not really keen on these. The indicators, he may well end up sticking them on, the bar end ones, but we'll see how we go. He's also on about binning off the clip-ons and running a bar across the top of the yoke, so we'll need to get some risers sorted out. We may be replacing the ignition barrel. This is nasty, so that's going to be going. We're toying with the idea of machining up a surround for the clocks, which taps and threads into the front of the yokes once we get rid of this. That'll neaten it all up, so you just have a clock sitting in the middle, more in keeping with a cafe. This needs sorting. There's quite a lot to do actually, but the sheer fact that this whole bike, in order to be done, has got to go right down to its frame, means there's going to be a lot of videos. This is on me. In a past life I did do airbrush painting. He had this grenade tattoo on his chest for some reason. He's got his kids' names on it. He wanted it on here, so paint my cricket, that's me. Hey, at least it's done nicely. So yeah, not sure what he's going to do with the tank. He's on about getting a completely different tank and going for a different look, so maybe brushed metal finish tank and just a black seat unit. Don't really know. He's going to be making his own seat as well. Obviously this isn't going to fit a cafe, it's not in keeping. Basically the whole thing needs tidying up, cleaning up and making to look lovely again. It doesn't look bad now really, it's just kind of a bit tatty around the edges and maybe some bits could be made a bit better. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But anyway, hopefully he's going to be here soon, because we need to get this up on the ramp and start off with the seat unit. All that bit there is coming off. Probably take the exhaust off as well, just because then I can get stand underneath it and we can get cracking. It's on the table, it's kind of square, but at the moment it's only held down with these two ratchet straps. So we just hit the first hurdle. If you look down here, I've got a jack over there, which is a flatbed that raises up and it's got two arms that can go around the frame. I was hoping to stick it on here and here, just that way we can still get to the breakaway frame. The only trouble is, can't get it in because of the exhaust. So first things first, the exhaust is coming off before we can take the seat off, after we've got it jacked up and supported properly. Because otherwise it's going to fall off and that would put a dink in Steve-O's day. So anyway, apparently he's on his way down. We'll see him in a minute. I will have to put the camera on wide angle or you're not going to get all of him in. But we'll see him soon and he can give us a hand. thing we forgot to mention, we've got Steve-O's box for all his junk. What we're doing is I've got some of this, it's like
lay flat
tubing. So all it is like heat sort of sealed on the ends. We've got a machine under the bench that does it for us. And all we're doing is, as we're taking all the nuts and bolts off, we're just sticking them in this and sealing it up. Because I don't have a lot of zip tie bags and stuff anyway. So that's what we're doing. All the bits and pieces will go in here, and we've got one for pretty much anything. So there's manifold bolts, there's exhaust mounting bolts, there's kicks down in here, brackets with exhaust, all that kind of stuff. So basically everything is going to get labelled up, shoved in here, done with a Sharpie so it doesn't rub off. No, it doesn't rub off. Cool. So when it comes to putting stuff back together again, we'll know which bag to go to get all the bits and pieces out. There you go. Easy. Right, so we made a start on it. This is kind of like day one. This is Steve-O.
Hello.
That's his bike. And it does look a little bit different. You would have seen from the time lapse that we did before. We haven't actually done that much. Obviously the tank's gone. That's currently sat over there in the corner. The seat unit all came off as one. So basically we took some of the wires. The tail light one had to be cut because it was really funny. All the rest of it just kind of pulls through, and the whole of that back section came away in one go. So that's now in Steve-O's cart. That's going home along with the exhaust system, which we took off. Runs all the way down there. It was really awkward to get the link pipe off with the collector still in place. So that lot went, and then we couldn't get the collector off, so we ended up taking it off the headers. And the whole lot kind of came out as two pieces really, so it wasn't too bad. There is a whole mess of wiring in here.
Excuse me.
It's a mess of wires.
It's messy, yes.
So there's actually not that much to it. I hate electrics as much as the next man. I really hate electrics. However, this is actually quite simple. The thing is, we're gonna, when we get the new seat unit on, all these wires are going to be the wrong length. Because what we're going to do is lop off this bracket and this one. That's where the tank goes. That's where it originally mounts to, but that's all going to change. We're also going to take off this tab. Get these out of the way. We're also going to, so yeah, that one's going, that one's going. Then we're going to cut off that tab and that tab, because that's where the top of the old seat frame used to sit. That's no longer needed. Then on here, we've got, this bracket was welded on, along with this flat piece here, same on this side. Oh, yeah, you can see even better there. So that was welded on as part of Steve-O's original build. and we don't need this bit anymore. We are going to leave this bit, and we're going to box in the back of it along here, so we've got something flat to weld to. And the idea is there's going to be a hoop that joins the frame about here, comes along, goes across back to here, and then there'll be some supports that come from here up to the underside of that seat frame. So all this bit in the middle is going to be empty, so you're just going to see the shock. All this lot is going to get shortened up, and it's going to basically come straight across here and straight into a tray, which I'll make to go underneath the seat. That way you're not going to see any wiring. So then the only other wiring you've got to clean up is what you see under there. And hopefully he's going to change these two, because they're nasty. Anyway, a few other bits and pieces. We noticed there's the engine paint is coming off, and it's a bit so he wants to sort all this out. This is going to be black, this is going to be black, but he's going to take it off the edge of the fin, so you get all the nice silver stripes going along like this. The covers, they're all going to brush finished.
Brush finished.
And that's the same on both sides.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the gearbox.
Okay. So all this bit is going to be silver, brush finish, lacquered on top. Clean the carbs up.
Cars are going to be ultrasonic.
I've got one of them coming.
Yay!
And all the rest of it really is just to neat and tidy up, really. We're not going to do any more on it today, purely because we need to label all this stuff up, and I don't have a label machine here, so we're going to wait and do the job right and get the label machine here, so all that lot can be labelled up. We know what goes where, so that way when we come to do the rewire and plug it all back in again, we know what goes to what. And in the meanwhile, he's going to think about what we're going to do with the rest of it. We've already had an idea of...
That's changing. That's horrible.
That's going in the bin.
Yeah.
This is going to change for the headlight mount, but we're just kicking around ideas and stuff at the moment.
No longer going to be running clip-ons, or we're going to be running risers with a not completely flat bar.
Hang on.
Oh.
There you go.
Not a completely flat bar, but with a bit of a back turn on it. So that'll be more
wide angle. Breathe in. You got to wear that t-shirt.
Why?
Because it'll be funny. Wear
that t-shirt.
That t-shirt. Next time
that t-shirt.
Wear the t-shirt. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So that's kind of where we got so far. It's not a huge amount of work. How long have we been doing this? What, an hour?
Yeah.
We got quite a lot sort of took off of it, but we kind of run into a hurdle because I haven't got the label thing. So rather than just carry on and maybe forget something or forget where something goes, we're going to try and do the job right and make it neat and tidy. And so we're going to wait for that. So stay tuned. Next one we'll probably just like stick it on the end of this video, because I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of footage. We're not spending too much time either telling you how it all came apart, because essentially it's just big bits that we've unbolted. So there's nothing crazy, there's nothing technical, there's no inside knowledge you need. It's just a socket and an attitude, and away you go. Everything came apart really easy. The bike's been dry stored, so it's not covered in rust or anything. And everything came apart just
easy. It's a bit greasy in places, but
well, greasy isn't a bad thing, unless it's brakes.
Yeah, brakes is bad.
That would be very bad. Anyway, so there you go. We're going to leave it here and pick up when we've got the label machine and a bit more time, and we'll crack on with the next bit.